It feels good coming to you with the program Meet the Boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria.com. I still remain your humble host, William Tuzumba, and today's edition of the program promises to be very interesting and eye-opening. Why do I say so? Well, sit back, relax. After this timeout, I shall be unveiling my guest today and the discussion we're going to be having. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. We shall be right back. Welcome back to the show, Meet the Boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria.com. Before that break, I did tell you that today's program promises to be insightful and interesting. Well, join me as I welcome my guest today, the person of Mr. Chimezie Chuta, the founder, CEO of Blockspace Technologies. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Nice of you to have us in your humble abode.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Blockspace Technologies. What do you do and why that name? Someone will want to ask. So maybe we should start from that point.
Okay, thank you so much. We are in the business of helping to build a new infrastructure of decentralized finance, which is an emerging trend in the blockchain industry. So my company, Blockspace Technologies, is building out the necessary infrastructures that will be needed to drive those decentralized applications across Africa. So most of our job and our businesses are around building the node operating infrastructure, because when you talk about blockchain technology, you're talking about distributed databases. And these distributed databases are run on specialized hardware. And our company is building out solutions that will enable anyone, anywhere, as long as they can see the sun, to run those nodes anywhere.
Interesting. How long have you been in business?
Okay, I got involved in blockchain technology in 2016. And I made my first move to focus on this infrastructure layer-based type of business as far back as 2018. So we've been in operation since 2018.
Oh, interesting. At what point maybe you should tell us a bit about your background. At what point did you decide to go into blockchain technology? What's your background? Let's even start.
Okay, so I have a very interesting background because unlike a lot of people who have known me probably in the last 10 years, they may not be aware of the kind of background I have. I have a background in the arts. I actually studied fine and applied arts at the University of Nigeria.
Interesting.
Okay, and but I did my last painting as far back as 2001. And ever since then, I've been involved in the blockchain industry, and in the tech industry specifically. And I have a strong background in software development, which goes back to 2003 or thereabout. And I've been building out web applications, been involved in building business automation tools, using web technologies. But the interest in the blockchain industry was spurred majorly in my research for better ways to utilize 3D printing, because I got involved with 3D printing too. So that quest led me to discover that a lot of 3D printing companies were currently using blockchain technology to track their print products for manufacturers. So I became very curious to learn about what blockchain technology was, and that led me to pick up a master's degree course on the University of Nicosia at Cyprus. And first of all, I did the free MOOC course, which lasted for 3 months. It was more like a master degree. And after the course, I got a scholarship, and I enrolled for the master's degree. And of course, when you get involved with an emerging industry like this, where you talk about technology and people are not too familiar around you, it takes some time
to kick in.
For people to kick into that. But if you understand how tech work, it means that if you're waiting for everybody to get in before you start rolling out your product or service, then you're already too late. So you get in before the masses begin to understand what's going on, and that's what we did at Blockspace Technologies.
Now, let me throw this in. You said your organization, Blockspace Technologies, has fully been in operation since 2018. How has it been? We all know that starting up a business is not easy, and Nigeria is no exception as a climate. Were there challenges? How has it been setting up this company, especially noteworthy of the fact that blockchain itself as a concept is still a concept that a lot of us are still struggling to both understand how it works and its functionality. So what are some of the challenges you've faced over the years setting up your company?
The unique thing about blockchain businesses is that they are virtually done on the virtual world.
Good.
Okay, so the assets, the people, the infrastructure, the participants all live in the virtual world.
Okay.
So we really do not have much to do in the
physical
environment. So we only need stable electricity, fast speed internet, then we're good to go.
Oh.
Okay, so yes, we had those challenges. Of course, everybody knows that we have pathetic electricity situation in Nigeria and most African countries.
Yeah.
And internet penetration also was not something that was easily accessible for a lot of people. But of course, when a business is set to solve a particular problem, it goes ahead to solve the immediate problems within the environment. So of course, we have a lot of sunlight.
Yeah.
And that's a huge opportunity. So the first thing I had to do was to solve electricity problem by leveraging the power of the sun.
Okay.
So I invested a lot in
solar
technologies to
That's
make
good.
sure that we have very stable power. Then of course, the fact that we have fiber optic technology helps a lot. Even though they are not 100% as what they're supposed to be, but then they help. So we also invested in fiber optic, and that keeps us in business. And as long as those two variables are constant, business
is going.
Yes.
So how has the experience been so far?
Frankly, initially it's passion that drove decision to get involved in the business.
Okay.
Because the business, it's more like helping people to participate in a multi-trillion industry.
Okay.
Because if you are shut off from a global business like blockchain technology, that environment is worse off. So we have to be bold enough to get involved in these global businesses because they are completely borderless. There are no restrictions like you expect to see in physical businesses where you have to sign up all kinds of permits and licensing. But it's available to anyone. Okay, so it has been really wonderful for us because we got in very early, and we are very hopeful that the coming years will even be a lot better for us because the solutions that we're building will help Africa as a continent to participate in this industry on the infrastructure level. Not just picking the crumbs that come from probably speculating the assets that are used on the blockchain space, but also being able to participate in the infrastructure layer, like I said, which is really very important because when you participate in the infrastructure layer and you are probably like a node operator, a miner, or a validator, you are a stakeholder in that particular blockchain environment. And as a stakeholder, you can vote, you can make decisions. You are more than just a passerby.
True. Now let's go into some bit of enlightenment. Just as I said during my intro, before as I was starting this program, I did mention that the phrase or the word blockchain, when many of us have heard it, but quite a handful of people, Nigerians, and even a lot of other people in all other African countries, still don't understand what it is or what it does. So can you help shed some more enlightenment as to when you talk of blockchain, what are involved? Like we also hear phrases like Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. How do these individual words, how do they come together under that umbrella, blockchain technology?
Okay, thanks again, Will. Even for technical people to understand the concept,
I struggle too.
It's problematic. But it's because it's still in its early stage, and that's why we talk about them in the technical form. Over time, we'll get more comfortable with the nomenclatures that we can use to describe them. But for now, it's unfortunately still a technical word. So blockchain technology is basically the concept of adopting a new method of storing data over the internet. The first and the second generations of the internet saw what you call centralized server operations. In other words, probably a company like your company could set up their own website and they set up their own server to host the files.
Server to host them.
And it's completely in their control. And every activity is stored in the database that is in that particular box somewhere belonging to Connectnigeria. Now, if there is anything like a downtime, something goes off, probably the power is off, that website goes offline.
Yes, true.
Secondly, if there's a data that we saw there yesterday and we criticize it, your technical guy could go in the night and remove it and will not see it again the next day. In other words, it's easy for anybody to manipulate. I mean, someone could actually target that particular server and give you what you call distributed denial of service, DDoS, and stop that server from broadcasting its IP to the network, and your server will be down. Okay, so there are so many reasons why the internet generations phase 1 and 2 were not perfect, and blockchain technology comes to help to perfect the things that were not perfect in those generations. In other words, they are bringing what you call distributed databases. So instead of you having the database in one particular server, then you scatter them. When you scatter them like that, one, you have more security. Secondly, there's no single point of failure anymore. And because there's no single point of failure anymore, it's also difficult for anybody to manipulate the data. Then they also added what you call transparency and verifiability, which you cannot really do on a centralized system. So these new additions are really what mankind needed. And that's what blockchain technology brought in. Now, on the other part, when you talk about the cryptocurrencies or the crypto assets or the tokens, these are what you use to incentivize those who will run those distributed databases. Because if I want to contribute or help to strengthen a particular blockchain, what it means is that I'll bring my own equipment and I'll use it to download the software of that blockchain and begin to help to verify the network and also strengthen the network. Because it's going to cost me electricity and internet service and some technical skills, the network has a system that it uses to reward me for doing it. By allowing me to earn some of the token that people will be spending on the network as they are using it. So if you want to build your business on this new decentralized environment, then you will spend some of the tokens of that network to be able to deploy your application and run it. And those who are contributing to secure it and verify the transaction there, they are rewarded. So that reward is the thing that we call cryptocurrencies or tokens, so to speak. So that's actually where it comes from. Apart from Bitcoin and Bitcoin-like types of cryptocurrencies that are majorly peer-to-peer payment system. They're like electronic cash system for sending people money without a third party. Because now, I mean, money is what we say it is. So if we say Bitcoin is money and you accept it for exchange of your good or your service, then I send it to you directly. We don't need a bank. We don't need a government
to make that happen.
To do that. So that's the concept and the background of the entire revolution that you're seeing in the blockchain industry. So when you, like in our own business, we help to build out the hardware that you can use to participate as a validator. Whether you're running a Bitcoin node or you want to run a Tezos node or a Polkadot node or an Cardano node, any network at all requires validators. So what we are doing is to use affordable devices to build out some of the solutions using solar power to make it easy for anyone in Africa, because everywhere in Africa is basically the same. We go through the same problem: no electricity, poor internet services, government are not functioning properly, institutions are not really doing what they're supposed to do, infrastructure don't exist. So we are building out these new systems and helping anyone that will be interested in getting involved in it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, I think at this point in time, we'll go on a quick break, take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about the economy of Nigeria as a whole and how blockchain is poised to affect it negatively or positively. We'll talk about that, and we'll also look at some other things that keeps you motivated and tells you that you're on the right track. So we'll do all of that when we come back on this second phase of today's program. Well, viewers, you're still watching Meet the Boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria, and my guest today is no other person than Mr. Chimezie Chuta, the founder, CEO of Blockspace Technologies. And we've been talking a lot about the blockchain industry as a whole, the cryptocurrency you hear about, the Bitcoin, and how this whole thing work hand in hand. When we get back, as I did mention, we'll look at some other areas that will be of interest to you. So please stay tuned, don't go nowhere. We shall be right back after this time out. You're welcome back to the second phase of today's program, Meet the Boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria.com. And what a discussion we've been having so far with my guest, Mr. Chimezie Chuta, founder, CEO of Blockspace Technologies. So you're welcome to the second phase of today's program.
Thank you so much, William.
Now, I want us to look at another angle to today's discussion, which is the ease of doing business in a country like Nigeria. How would you say, from your experience as a business owner, how would you rate the ease of doing business in a country like Nigeria?
Well, frankly, I will say that we have moved forward from where we were before.
Okay.
So it's not as bad as it used to be. But of course, it could be a lot better. You know, if you compare that with some other jurisdictions like in Rwanda or in Kenya, okay, where, I mean, it takes less than 24 hours to set up your business. It's still not that visible in Nigeria. So I think, therefore, they have made so far is a little bit a good improvement from where we were, and I think they can do better.
Okay, which will even bring me to this next question. What do you think, in what ways or avenues do you think the government at all levels, both state and federal, can help startups and businesses to thrive more, especially your kind of businesses? What are some of those things you think the government can do to support businesses and help them grow better?
Okay, in several jurisdictions where most of our government policymakers travel to from time to time, either for holiday or for some kind of training, okay, they see how easy it is for you to use automated platforms to register your businesses, apply for necessary licensing, enlist in regulatory platforms that concern your industry, all online. Without physically, dealing with bureaucrats in those agencies. Okay, so Nigerian government should show that they see that these things work elsewhere, and I don't see why it shouldn't work.
Why they can
and they
adopt
should be able to, put the necessary infrastructure in place to make those things happen. I mean, technology is a driver of innovation, and if we want to really take advantage of technology to turn around our economy, then we should be happy with automated processes that technology can help us. I mean, there are a lot of tools for regulators to use. We have robo-advisors, we have all kinds of platforms where you could do monitoring. You could use to do, every other required regulatory instrument is available to them to use. So putting in place some of those tools is to the advantage of everybody, the regulators and the SMEs. Because for the SMEs, it takes all the pain away. Instead of having to travel to Abuja, for instance, to go to CBN, if you are a fintech company, to get permissions and approvals, and get into a sandbox. You could do all those things in your platform. and that will save a lot of time and save a lot of money for everybody.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Now, Blockspace Technologies. 5 years from now, where would you want to see this your baby?
Okay, so when you look at most node distributions on every blockchain network have what you call node distribution platform, where you see a global view of all the places where the nodes of that particular network reside. Sadly, most of these networks, they have very little presence in Africa.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the Bitcoin node, very little presence. The Tezos node, very little presence. So we've been able to build the very first Lightning Network node for Africa. We built the first Tezos node for Africa. We're currently working on the Cardano node. Oh. Now, what we want to see is a far more increased participation of Africans, because if Africans are participating, truly, the node maps will show the locations of those nodes. Okay. And that participation is actually economic distribution of wealth. Because for everywhere there is a node, it means that there is economy coming from.
Transactions going on there.
Transaction is coming and someone is receiving something from this global network. So our vision is to increase the participation of Africans in the distributed blockchain technology space, such that when you open any blockchain platform and you look at the node distribution map, you see Africans participating there. Okay, because that is the way we want to participate and contribute to helping the increased economic fortune among Africans.
Do you have mentors, especially in this space that you operate or any other space? Do you have mentors? And apart from that, do you, at the level you are now in life, do you create time and space to also mentor others, to have mentees?
Okay, from the local environment, we didn't meet people who could
serve as mentors.
Yes, from the local.
Because you guys were practically the beginners.
Yes, because I didn't mention that one of the key things that I do in the industry is to help to build the blockchain community in Nigeria. I double up as the founder and coordinator of Blockchain Nigeria as a group. And that group came in force in 2016, long before I launched my own company. And one of the things that we've been doing is to use it as a platform to educate, increase awareness, and also do a lot of collaboration with governments.
I see.
We've helped a lot of agencies to craft regulatory and policy instruments, and we're still doing that.
Nice.
You know, we have very qualified and capable members in the group. We have developers, we have investors, we have enthusiasts, all kinds of people, traders. So we inspire them. And for me, my contribution into the ecosystem is beyond business. Because when you mention things like mentoring people, I mean, that's what I do all my life. Okay, so I sit down and every day I, show people how they can alternate living, leverage the opportunities the industry have, and then hold them by the hand, because Blockchain Nigeria is a huge platform. We have over 12,000 people in that group, and they trust the insight that we provide them daily, and we'll bring in a whole lot of foreign companies to hold what you call Ask Me Any Question sessions in our Telegram group, which is really very, very important, because when you bring foreign projects, all these successful projects, and you bring their CEOs and you get to do the kind of thing that we're doing now, we inspire a whole lot of other people, because you get to ask them some key questions, some things that has helped them to succeed. And a lot of people who are interested in pursuing their dreams get inspired. And we've had a lot of local efforts. Okay, we also teach people a whole lot of things that has to do with the blockchain technology. In fact, we are running a blockchain Dev 1000 initiative, which is a target to raise at least 1,000 blockchain developers. In the next 2 years. 1 year had gone, and I'm sure we have gotten up to 515 people already into the program, and we hope to exceed that because we have partnership with a whole lot of organizations. We have partnership with IBM, we have partnership with Binance, we have partnership with Tezos, we have partnership with CRAS, Vite, and so many other platforms helping to share knowledge about the industry.
That's fantastic. Wow, Chimezie, it's been fun. I mean, in the media world, they tell us that whatever has a beginning must surely have an end. So we're fast coming to the wrap for today's program. But it's been wonderful having you on today's program and sharing your experience with us, how you started your company, Blockspace Technologies, and all the hurdles you've gone through. We've really learned a lot. We've really learned a lot, and we thank you for being on the program today. And who knows, maybe we can bring you somewhere down the line as we follow the growth of your company. Somewhere down the line, we might invite you to the program to come tell us some new things that's happening in the business.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you,
it's
sir.
Always a pleasure. I like what Connectnigeria has been doing. I've been with your company for more than 4 years.
Fantastic.
Okay, so
fantastic.
I'm enjoying every bit of your effort in helping the growth of the SME space.
Thanks for the accolade. Thanks for the accolade.
Yeah.
Well, viewers, you've heard it all from my guest today, Mr. Chimezie Chuta, the founder, CEO of Blockspace Technologies. He said a lot about his business, how we started the business from 2018, some of the hurdles he's gone through, and what the business itself does. He's also married his discussion with some other famous words that many of us know, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and how all of those fall under the blockchain technology as we know it today. Remember, you can catch the recorded version of this interview on our YouTube page. Just go to our YouTube page, search for Connectnigeria, and you'll be able to watch this episode of the interview and all the previous other interviews we've had on Meet the Boss. Until I come your way same time on this station, on the program Meet the Boss, brought to you by Connectnigeria.com. Here's telling you to continue to keep a positive mind. And remember, too, we are still in the period of the pandemic, so continue to stay safe out there. And as I always say on this program, the sky might just be the beginning of your success. Bye, guys.